Madhav ki Jai, Jai Srila Prabhupada ki Jai, Jai Srila Gurudev ki Jai, Nitai Gaura Premanjana. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam namaskritya naram chaiva narottamam devim saraswatim vyasam tato jayam mudiraye nasta praeshu apadreshu nityam bhagavata sevaya Bhagavati uttama shloke Bhakti bhavati naishtiki Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Jai Shri Harinam Sankirtan Yajna ki Jai, Grantaraj Srimad Bhagavatam ki Jai. We welcome all devotees today for the first Bhagavatam class of the year. And we will take a verse from the 3rd canto, 2nd chapter, 15th verse, 3 to 15. So I will just chant it. Swashanta Rupeshu Itarai Swarupe Abhyardhanamanishu Anukampitatma Paravaresho Mahanam Sayukto Yajo Pijato Bhagavan Yatatnihi Swashanta Rupeshu Itarai Swarupe Abhyadhyamaneshu Anukampitatma Paravaresho Mahanam Sayukto Yajo Pijato Bhagavan Yatatnihi Swashanta Rupeshu Itarai Swarupe Abhyadamaneshu Anukampitatma Paravaresho Mahanam Sayukto Yajo Pijato Bhagavan Yatatnihi. Can we have a Prabhu maybe to chant? Swashanta Rupeshu, unto the peaceful devotees of the Lord. Itarai, others, non-devotees. Swarupai, according to their own modes of nature. Abhyadamaneshu, being harassed by. Anukampita Atma, the all-compassionate Lord. Para Avara, spiritual and material. Isha, controller. Mahat Amsa Yuktaha, accompanied by the plenary portion of Mahat Tattva. He, certainly, Ajaha, the unborn. Api, although. Jataha, is born. Bhagavan, the personality of Godhead. Yatha, as if. Agnihi, the fire. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Krishna Prabhupada Ki Jai. Please repeat the translation. The personality of Godhead, the all-compassionate, controller of both the spiritual and material creations, is unborn. But when there is friction between His peaceful devotees and persons who are in the material modes of nature, He takes birth, just like fire, accompanied by the Mahat Tattva. Please hear the purport. The devotees of the Lord are by nature peaceful because they have no material hankering. A liberated soul has no hankering, and therefore he has no lamentation. One who wants to possess also laments when he loses his possession. Devotees, is it the battery? Okay, just hold on. Our mics have been working overtime since yesterday. Sorry, Prabhu. Let me see where I was reading. The devotees, I'll read it again. The devotees of the Lord are by nature peaceful because they have no material hankering. A liberated soul has no hankering, and therefore he has no lamentation. One who wants to possess also laments when he loses his possessions. Devotees have no hankerings for material possessions and no hankerings for spiritual salvation. They are situated in the transcendental loving service of the Lord as a matter of duty. And they do not mind where they are or how they have to act. Karmis, jnanis and yogis all hanker to possess some material or spiritual assets. Karmis want material possessions, jnanis and yogis want spiritual possessions, but devotees do not want any material or spiritual assets. They want only to serve the Lord anywhere in the material or spiritual worlds that the Lord desires. And the Lord is always specifically compassionate towards such devotees. The karmis, jnanis and yogis have their particular mentalities in the modes of nature, and therefore they are called itara, or non-devotees. These itaras, including even the yogis, sometimes harass the devotees of the Lord. Durvasa Muni, a great yogi, harassed Maharaj Ambarish because the latter was a great devotee of the Lord. And the great karmi and jnani Hiranyakashipu even harassed his own Vaishnava son Prahlad Maharaj. There are many instances of such harassment of the peaceful devotees of the Lord by the itaras. When such friction takes place, the Lord, out of His great compassion towards His pure devotees, appears in person, accompanied by His plenary portions, controlling the Mahat Tattva. The Lord is everywhere, in both material and spiritual domains, and He appears for the sake of His devotees when there is friction between his devotee and the non-devotee. As electricity is generated by friction of matter anywhere and everywhere, the Lord, being all-pervading, appears because of the friction of devotees and non-devotees. When Lord Krishna appears on a mission, all his plenary portions accompany him. When he appeared as the son of Vasudeva, there were differences of opinion about his incarnation. Some said he is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Some said he is an incarnation of Narayana. And others said he is the incarnation of Kshirodakashaya Vishnu. But actually, he is the original personality, Supreme Personality of Godhead. Krishna's two, Bhagavan Swayam. And Narayana, the Purushas, and all other incarnations accompany him to function as different parts of his pastimes. Mahat Amsha Yuktaha indicates that he is accompanied by the Purushas who create the Mahat Tattva. It is confirmed in the Vedic hymns, Mahantam Vibhum Atmanam. Lord Krishna appeared just like electricity when there was friction between Kamsa and Vasudeva and Ugrasena. Vasudeva and Ugrasena were the Lord's devotees, and Kamsa, a representative of the Karmis and Jnanis, was a non-devotee. Krishna, as he is compared to the sun. He first appeared from the ocean of the womb of Devaki, and gradually he satisfied the inhabitants of the places surrounding Mathura, just as the sun enlivens the lotus flower in the morning. After gradually rising to the meridian of Dwarka, the Lord set like the sun, placing everything in darkness, as described by Uddhava. Om Agnana Timirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha. Sri Chaitanya Mano Vishnam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Uttapadapadalam Shri Guru Vaishnavanscha Shri Rupam Sakrajatam Sagata Raghunatham Vitam Tam Sajivam Savaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Pada Sagata Lalita Shri Vishakhan Vitamscha. Hey Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurange Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Evacha Patitana Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Jai Bhaktaraj Srimad Bhagavatam ki. So we've come to the most challenging part of the morning, and this is how do we stay awake. We've been up the whole night, up to midnight, and then some of us slept, some of us did not. And then we came for Mangala Arati, and then after that we chanted our rounds, we did Guru Puja, we took darshan, and now we are seated. And sitting is always dangerous, especially when we are very tired, right? So I'm going to try and make this as concise as possible. Otherwise, it is going to be a perfect cure for insomnia. Bhakti Chaitanya Maharaj told us this actually on one of his, when he came to Singapore many years ago, early 2000s. He said Srimad Bhagavatam is the best cure for insomnia. Because Srimad Bhagavatam is so soothing that the living entity goes to sleep. So that's the challenge we have. This verse is coming from a very important set of verses that Uddhava is speaking. And Uddhava is now being reminded of the separation from Krishna because Krishna has already left this world. So he's remembering all the pastimes of the Lord in this manner. The one phrase of the verse that is very important in this particular verse and relevant to us starting the year is actually the phrase Swashanta Rupeshu. Swashanta Rupeshu means peaceful devotees. One of the great qualities of a devotee is the devotee must be peaceful. Very important. If the devotee cannot be peaceful, actually it is an oxymoron. Because you cannot call yourself troubled and be a devotee. If you are troubled, then by Shastras, at the very most, we are on the third class level. We are Kanishtas. Because we are constantly troubled by our mind, and therefore we are not making progress in Krishna consciousness. So we should be clear that the hallmark of a devotee is that the devotee is peaceful. In the first part of the purport, Srila Prabhupada describes and takes pains to describe the quality of a devotee. And he says that the devotee is always peaceful. Now, when a devotee is peaceful, Bhagavatam tells us how to become peaceful is very important. Prabhupada writes in the purport that we can only become peaceful when there is no material hankerings in our hearts. The less material hankering, the more peaceful. The more we hanker, the less peaceful we are. This is a very important point. What does material hankering mean? It means I want this, I want that, I want that, I want this. Does it mean only material things? No. We may have given up so many material hankerings, but sometimes when we come to devotional service, we carry the material baggage into our spiritual life. Then what happens is, we hanker, but we hanker for name, we hanker for fame, we hanker for puja, we hanker for pratishta, we hanker for adoration. And not only do we hanker for these things, we also have expectations. So if you want to be peaceful, you must also be able to understand how much expectations we have in our hearts. How much expectations do we carry in our hearts? Do we expect people to be nice to us? We harass people, but we expect others to be very peaceful with us. We expect one standard for ourselves, but we expect another standard for others. So this expectation cannot make us peaceful. And if we are always expecting, then we are always hankering. So this point that Prabhupada puts forward to us is the most important message for us for this year. That if we are devotee means we must behave in a peaceful manner. How do you know if someone is peaceful? The person doesn't expect anything. If it is there, good. If it's not there, it's alright. This expectation and peacefulness cannot only be when you come to Gauranga Center. When we come to Gauranga Center, it is natural that we are peaceful. Because the whole world is watching us. Even if you are not a peaceful devotee, you will make sure that everyone thinks you are peaceful. Because our expectation and our reputation is very important. So we will not show our tempers here. We will not show our anger. We will not show our other qualities. So Gauranga Center, it's very important to be peaceful. But the real test of peace is in our daily lives. In the four corners of our walls is how we behave to our family members, our loved ones, our colleagues, and the devotees, as well as all living entities. Sometimes devotees are very nice to devotees, very peaceful, but to the outside world, we are like demons. We are really like demons. We don't behave ourselves. And we don't realize that Krishna is in the heart of all living entities. The most basic thing in Bhagavad Gita has actually skipped us. So therefore Prabhupada says, if we keep asking for things, then what happens is, we will keep hankering. The second point Prabhupada brings up is, where there is hankering, there will be lamentation. You see it, right? The moment we want something, we have a desire to possess it, we cannot get it and we lament. So, lamentation is the direct opposite of being peaceful. If we are always lamenting, it is very clear that we are always expecting. Otherwise, if we are peaceful, there is hardly room for lamentation. And if something is difficult in our life, tatte nukampam sushamikshmano bunjana evatma kritam vipakam ridbhava purbir vidadan namaste jive tayo mukti padase dayabha. If we are disturbed in any condition, then 10:14:8 of Srimad Bhagavatam is there to guide us. Because there, Brahma very nicely states that Krishna, those who are following your path, what are they like? Their mood is very nice. They treat all their difficulties as misdeeds. It's their own fault. They don't find fault with others. So if we are in difficulty, we don't look to others and blame them. The moment you blame others, you lament. The moment you blame others, you harass. And the moment you blame others, you cannot be peaceful. That is why in Bhagavatam, all devotees accept everything. No devotee expects anything. You see the point? The moment we expect, we are at third class level, Kanishta level. The Madhyama Adhikari does not expect. He accepts everything. This is the way we can test our devotional service. And the aim of devotional service, the symptom of devotional service, is how peaceful you are. This is very, very important. In 332 of Srimad Bhagavatam, Kapila Dev very nicely tells us what happens when we are not peaceful. Yam yam artam upadate, dukkena sukkena hetave, tam tam dhunoti bhagavan, puman sochati amyakrite. It's a very nice verse. Kapila Dev says, whatever that is produced by the materialist with great pain and labor because of so-called happiness, in the end, Krishna as the time factor will take away that. And when he takes it away, the conditioned soul will lament. This is Bhagavatam. Whatever that you think belongs to you, eventually must leave you. Therefore, Prabhu said, Mataji, it doesn't belong to you. This is very important. Sometimes we think that service belongs to us. And we think this is my service, this is my service, this is my service. And if someone were to take the service, we become disturbed. We are not peaceful. But actually, Srila Prabhupada says, service is meant for everyone. And there's enough service for everybody to share and share alike. So this is also a very important part of it. The second point that we must remember is in the verse just before that, 331 of Srimad Bhagavatam. 330, first verse. Tasya tasya jano nunam, nayam udaro vikramam, veduro vikramam, kalyamano abhipadino, vayur iva ganavadihi. This is a very beautiful verse. Kapila Dev tells us, just like the mass of clouds do not know the powerful influence of the wind, in the same way, a person who is engaged in material consciousness, he does not know how the powerful strength of the time factor will carry everything away from him. You see the point? Just like the winds can blow the clouds very quickly, in the same way, Krishna as time factor can take away everything from us. So if we want to be peaceful, we should understand that time will change everything. And we will never be the same. We will always deteriorate in this material world. Therefore, if you do not become peaceful now, it is very difficult to become peaceful as you grow old. Because your body will not give you less trouble. Your mind will not give you less trouble. It will continue to increase its problems. The other point that's very important is this. When we have a desire to control and when we have a desire to possess, when we lose that possession, which is very, very precious to us, then what happens? We lament. And when we lament, it doesn't matter what is there or whether it is important. We are consumed by lamentation. Chitraketu Maharaj was consumed by the loss of his son, and he could not understand that his son was not his. Yes, we think that our family is ours, but even our family is not ours. We don't belong to them, and they don't belong to us. Frankly speaking, the root of all these problems of not being peaceful is a lack of self-satisfaction. That is what Bhagavatam concludes. Bhagavatam says, if you are looking for satisfaction outside always, then you cannot become peaceful. Supposing you come to Gauranga Center and you are expecting that the devotees must make you peaceful. Then one devotee is troubled and you expect the devotee to be nice to you, but the devotee is not nice. It's not the devotee's fault. You are looking for external satisfaction. Husbands look for satisfaction from wives. Wives look for satisfaction from husbands. But in this material world, nobody can satisfy anybody. Because our standards are very high, isn't it? And our expectations are very much. We think others should not put expectations on us, but we have very high expectations on others. This is the difficulty of material life. So in the 7th canto, 15th chapter, in the 7, 15, 16 of Srimad Bhagavatam, very nicely, Narada Muni is advising Yudhishthira Maharaj. And he gives a very nice point. Santushtasya nirtasya Swadma Ramasya Yat Sukham Kutastat Kamalobhena Dhavato Altahaya Dishaha. When you're chanting the verses, it's a good way to stay awake also. So I think this is good exercise. Krishna says, Narada Muni says something very nice. He says, one who is content and satisfied and who links his activities with the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is in everyone's heart, that person will enjoy transcendental happiness without endeavoring for his livelihood. What a nice point. If we want to become transcendently happy, the secret is in 7, 15, 16. And what does Narada Muni say? Become content and satisfied and link up all your activities with Krishna. If you do it, you will become transcendently happy. In other words, before you speak to a devotee, you think if how you speak will please Krishna. Before you shout at someone and lose your temper, you think, does this please Krishna? Before you harass someone and say hurtful things to others, you think, does this please Krishna? Please think if this will please your spiritual master. Please think if this will please Srila Prabhupada. This is what it means. If we behave that way, we will become transcendently happy. The second part of the verse, Narada Muni says very nicely, where is such happiness for the materialist? Why? Because that materialist is impelled by lust and greed. And when we have lust and greed in our heart, we will wander in all directions, trying to accumulate some kind of wealth. It may not be money, but it may be name, it may be fame. Sometimes people come to congregations because they want something, material. If they don't get it, they leave. That is not devotional service. That means we are not peaceful. The very nice solution is then given by Narada in 7:15, 17. And this verse is so nice because it is very easy to remember. Very easy to remember. Sada santushta manasaha sarva sivamaya dishaha sakara kantaka dibhyo yato panat pada shivam. Narada Muni says, if a person has suitable shoes on his feet, if your shoes are suitable, or slippers, if you have them on your feet, then what is the advantage? there is no danger. Even if you walk on pebbles or thorns or anything which is sharp, you will not feel it, isn't it? So what is this shoe? What is this slipper? In other words, if you by nature are self-satisfied, then everything is auspicious. There is no need to feel bad about something happening because you're self-satisfied. Whether people treat you well, whether people don't treat you well, you understand the situation. Because your happiness is not dependent on the next person. This is very important. That's why Srila Prabhupada said, devotional service will make us self-sufficient. In the end, no matter how much sadhu sangha you have, do you not realize that at the point of our death, only you are going to die? Isn't it true? You are surrounded by devotees. You are chanting Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Hare Hare. But after they chant, who is going to die? You only are going to die. It's not that they are chanting and then when you die, they all die with you. No. If they may not come if they know that. They may stay away actually. They are coming to make sure you die nicely. But they are not going to die with you. You see the point? So ultimately, you are going to pass from this world. We are going to pass from this world alone. We are surrounded by the devotees, but we are alone. So if we are not self-sufficient, if we are not self-satisfied, if we don't wear the suitable shoes on our feet, then wherever we go, every little bit on the feet that will touch the feet, it will make us disturbed. It will make us disturbed. So when we come out of Gauranga Center, you will all look for your shoes and your slippers. Hopefully you find them, right? But if you find them, you will realize that the moment you wear them, you can walk in Strangle Road in peace. Isn't it? Don't have to worry. Otherwise, Strangle Road is not very clean. And you don't know what you're stepping on actually. Isn't it? That's why we have the slippers. So the slippers help us in the world. In the same way, Narada is saying, you please have the slippers and the shoes. You please become self-satisfied. And when you are self-satisfied, then there is no distress. Indeed, he feels happiness everywhere. So this is very, very clear. Who is the best example of Santushtava? Srila Prabhupada. When Srila Prabhupada was building Krishna consciousness, he had nothing. He was put in the most difficult of situations. He distributed Back to Godhead magazine in the burning heat of Delhi summer. One time, there was a cow or a bull, and as Srila Prabhupada was passing by, the cow or the bull gored him actually. But despite all the pain he had, next day he was distributing Back to Godhead. He went from house to house to house, and he would give each person, dear sir, please take this magazine. Please read about spiritual life. Years later, Srila Prabhupada was the leader of iskcon. He had so much wealth. He had so much of opulence. And yet, he was never touched by it. The same shoes he wore when he started the devotional service was the same shoes that he wore when he ended his time here. And what was that shoe? His self-satisfaction. Wherever Srila Prabhupada went, he maintained his routine. My Guru Maharaj told me that wherever you are, if you can maintain your routine, that is a symptom of your self-satisfaction. Very important. Wherever you go, whether you go India, whether you are here, whether you go parikram, if you can maintain your spiritual routine, it is a sign of your peace and a sign of your self-satisfaction. You're not disturbed. Prabhupada was the emblem of that. Wherever he went, he continued his daily routine. Chanting, reading, writing, there was no change. And that is how we must be until the day we grow old. There are so many devotees here who have been giving service for years. They are self-satisfied and they are very peaceful in their service. And they don't harass anyone. In fact, they get others also to do nice service. This is the mood of a devotee. Therefore, material assets, Prabhupada says in the purport, going down a bit, are not important to the devotee. Whether you have a car, you don't have a car, it's not important. You can still come to the center. Whether you have money in the bank or not so much money in the bank, doesn't matter. Ultimately, you can still do service for Krishna. Whether you can sing well, you can't sing well, doesn't matter. Even if you sing very badly, Krishna accepts it because He accepts what you sing in your heart. Maybe you don't know how to decorate very nicely, but Jagannath does not reject what you do. He always accepts. Why Krishna accepts everything you give? Because He is self-satisfied. That is why He can accept everything. You see the point? Therefore, how we accept everything is dependent on how self-satisfied we are. This is Bhagavatam. Bhagavatam is not in the sky, Prabhus and Matajis. It is all about the values and our qualities and our behavior. That is what pleases Krishna. That is what attracts devotees. And devotees are not even attracted to spiritual assets. Can you imagine that? Vritasur, in the 6th canto, 11th chapter, 25th verse, he sings a beautiful prayer. Nanaka Prishtam, na chaparameshtam, na sarvabhaumam, na rasadipatyam, na yoga siddhir apunarbhavamba, samanjasatva virahaya kamshe. Let's sing it again, then we'll all be awake. Nanaka Prishtam, na chaparameshtam, na sarvabhaumam, Narasadipatyam, na yoga siddhi apunarbhavamba, samanjasatva virahaya kamshe. See the translation. This is exactly what Prabhupada is saying in our purport today. Vritasur says that I don't desire the heavenly planets, I don't desire these earthly planets, I don't desire to have dominion over the lower planets, I don't desire to become master of powerful mystic yoga. I don't even desire liberation. If all of this, right, will make me give up the lotus feet of the Lord, I don't want anything. Anything. That's why our prayer for 2024 is pure bhakti. Pure bhakti means we don't want to go out of this place or go anywhere if it means we cannot remember Krishna. If Krishna wants to take us back to Vaikuntha Loka, Vrindavan, Golok Vrindavan, then it is up to Him. But wherever we are, if we can do service for Krishna, that is Vrindavan. Prabhupada said, wherever you can remember Krishna, that is Vrindavan consciousness. You may be in Vrindavan and thinking of, we may be in Singapore and thinking of Vrindavan. Which one is better? Being in Singapore and remembering Vrindavan. That is very important. If you go all the way to Vrindavan and in your dealings with devotees you become disturbed, then where is Vrindavan consciousness? What is the point? If you are in Singapore and you are very peaceful and remembering Krishna, then this is Vrindavan. This is Vrindavan. The mood of Vritrasur. See the next verse he sings. We can sing that also. Ajata Paksha. Let's sing it together. Ajata Paksha Iva Mataram Pradaha Sanyam Yatavat Shudara Shudataha Priyam Priyeva Vyusitam Vishanna Manoravinda Shakade Shakadetvam. Jai Shri Jagannath Baladev Subhadra Mai Ki Jai. And see the translation. This is the mood of a devotee. This is how a devotee is always peaceful. Vritasur says, just like the baby birds that have not developed wings are always looking to their mother to return and feed them. We are always looking to Krishna like baby birds. Krishna is our mother bird. Second example, all the small calves, they are tied with ropes, but they wait anxiously for the time when the milking is coming and they can run to their mothers and they can take milk. Do you know that if you release 3 calves and 3 cows are there, they will never mistake the mothers. They will know exactly who their mother is. You don't know. I don't know. But they know actually. Yes. They are directly going to the mother. This is the specialty of the calf. They know. They know. Sometimes human babies, they will run They think it's a mother, but then they realize, hey, this is not my mother. Have you seen it? Then they will run to somebody else.
Yes.
The humans are not as intelligent, but the calves, they never go to the wrong mother. This is why Vritasur is saying this point. Third point, just like a morose wife, she's waiting for a husband who's gone for travel. But in the meantime, she's anxious to wait for him. And when he comes back, he gives her satisfaction. In the same way, Vritasur says, Krishna, I always yearn for the opportunity to render devotional service to you. This yearning is not dissatisfaction. Please remember that. This yearning brings great satisfaction because we're always anxious to serve Krishna. In material world, anxiety means disturbance. In the spiritual world, anxiety to remember Krishna and serve Him brings happiness. The materialists cannot understand it. Hiranyakashipu could not understand it, but Vritasur could understand it. Even Indra in the past time, even though he was a devotee, but he was always hankering for material things. Indra wanted Swarga. Indra wants Swarga. Vritasur said, you can keep your Swarga Loka. I just want to remember Krishna. He told Indra, you will just chop my head away and I will die. But in dying, I will remember Krishna and I will go back to him. And Indra will stay back, but he will never be able to enjoy Swarga Loka because he'll always be disturbed. You realize Indra is always disturbed. Who is going to do Ashwamedha sacrifice? Who is going to take away Govardhan Puja instead of Indra Puja? You see, he's always disturbed, isn't it? So many times they are coming to Lord because they are disturbed. So you see, if you are a pure devotee, then you are not disturbed. But if you are mixed devotee, you will be disturbed. The materialist is also disturbed. The karmis who are running after work and result, they are disturbed. So if you work for Krishna, but you say, Krishna, I want results from my work, actually you are karmi. Please remember that. Sometimes we work for Krishna and we get very disappointed Krishna has not given us result. Actually we are Hiranyakashipu. That is what the purport is saying. So don't work for Krishna and then expect Krishna must give you all the things the way you want it. Who are we to demand this from Krishna? He is our Lord. He will give us what we want. We must be satisfied with what comes our way. Hiranyakashipu was a jnani. Can you imagine that? People don't realize that. Huh? They always say he's asura. But Prabhupada says he was a karmi and he was a jnani. That is why in Bhagavad Gita, when people say that karma yoga and jnana yoga are just as important as bhakti yoga, please, that is a misconception. Jnana yoga and karma yoga must be infused with bhakti. The moment there is no bhakti, it is very easy for us to degrade into jnanis and karmis. And then we will be running after work with result, or we'll be running after knowledge for power. That is Hiranyakashipu, and that was Durvasa Muni also. And now we come to the other part of Bhagavatam, today's purport. Those who are not peaceful, they will be disturbed. And those who are disturbed, not only will they be disturbed, but they will harass other people also. Hiranyakashipu was always disturbed. He was envious of Krishna. Therefore, he decided, let me terrorize the universe. And so the first terrorist in the world was actually Hiranyakashipu. Long before all the terrorists came into the material world, the mother and father of all terrorists was Hiranyakashipu. And he harassed, starting from his own son, because he could not take it that Prahlad was very sadhu, but he was very agitated. Let me ask you a question. Have you all spoken to devotees who are very sadhu? When you try to make them irritated, they become more sadhu. When you try to harass them, they become more sadhu. Then your blood pressure will go up, isn't it? Have you sometimes, especially husband-wife situation, devotees always come to me and say, Prabhu, the more I try to, the more disturbed I become, the more peaceful he becomes. And when I see that, right, I can't take it. He becomes like a yogi, and I become like Hiranyakashipu. So actually, we are envious of those who are peaceful. And we harass them because we can't be peaceful. You see the point? Just like sometimes we tell people, we have now given up meat eating, right? We have given up smoking, drinking, all these things. Maybe last time we used to like it. Suddenly someone comes and we find out they are our friend and they are smoking and drinking. Suddenly we become very upset with them. We scold them, how can you eat, how can you drink? But either we are really saying that because we desire their welfare, or we are very frustrated because we cannot drink anymore and we can't smoke anymore. Sometimes we hear of people going to watch cinemas and then devotees say, oh, we cannot go and watch movies. Then when someone goes to watch movie, we say, you are in Maya, Prabhu, you are in Maya. Actually, we want to watch the movies, but we can't because everybody is watching us. So then we become disturbed and we harass others. You see the point? So actually, harassing others, causing others disturbance is a sign of our lack of peace. Please remember that. If you are constantly harassing people and finding fault with them, you are not a devotee. Please remember that. Bhagavatam is very clear. You are not devotee. And when that happens, right, Krishna will protect that devotee and he will burn you. Please remember that. Don't think that Krishna only came to kill Kamsa, right? And don't only think that I'm devotee, dhoti, tilak, kurta, therefore I'm devotee. No. You are defined by your behavior as a devotee, not by what you wear. And if we are harassing others, then we are not pleasing Krishna. Then our own life, we will be harassed by others. Big fish swallow small fish, and then bigger fish will swallow big fish. That is how the nature of the world is. This is also in Bhagavatam. That is why Prabhupada says, Durvasa Muni harassed Ambarish Maharaj. Why? Because he was envious of him. Ambarish Maharaj was very calm and he just broke fast with water. But because Durvasa Muni thought he was a very big devotee, he felt insulted. And he cursed Ambarish Maharaj. But Ambarish Maharaj did not curse him. Ambarish Maharaj stood there and prayed to Krishna. And Krishna sent Sudarshan Chakra and burnt up the demons sent by Ambarish Maharaj. And Sudarshan Chakra chased Ambarish Maharaj, chased Durvasa Muni, such that he was going on yatra. He went to see Brahma. He went to see Lord Shiva. Then he went to Vaikuntha and said, Lord Vishnu, you please save me. And Vishnu said, why did you come to me? Ambarish Maharaj is so powerful, only he can release you from Sudarshan Chakra. And that's why I was saying a few weeks ago, sometimes when we harass devotees, we don't even ask forgiveness from them. You know what we do? We stand in front of Jagannath and say, Jagannath, please forgive me for my offenses to devotees. Jagannath will tell you, read Ambarish Maharaj pastime. Don't come to me, right? Go to the devotee and fall at the devotee's feet. That is very important. And so Durvasa Muni came back and he fell at the lotus feet of the devotee. And when he did that, he said something very nice. Because Ambarish Maharaj, he picked him up. And after he picked him up, he did not harass him. He did not say, see, I told you because you harassed me, now you were disturbed. He didn't do anything like that. In fact, he said, please don't fall at my feet. I am also at mistake. And he embraced him and he had fasted all this time. And now he said, let us break fast together. And when Durvasa Muni saw that, he said something very nice in 9.5.14 of Srimad Bhagavatam. And that way, we can understand the purport of the verse today. He says, very nicely, Aho Ananta Dashana Mahatvam Vishna Madhyame Vidhagaso Api Yadvarajan Mangalani Samihase My dear King, today I have experienced the greatness of devotees. Why? Although I committed an offense, you prayed for my good fortune. You prayed for my good fortune. This is the mood of a devotee. A devotee always prays for the good fortune of other devotees. And so we should end today by remembering a very nice verse from Bhagavatam 5:18-9. Let this be our New Year prayer. This is the prayer that Prahlad Maharaj prayed for all in the universe. And we should study and pray this prayer very nicely. Let's chant the prayer together. Swasti astu vishwasya kala prasidatam dhyayantu bhutani shivam mitodhiya manascha badram bhajakara doksuje aveshyatamno matirapi haituki. Let's read the translation together. May there be good fortune throughout the universe, and may all envious persons be pacified. May all living entities become calm by practicing bhakti yoga. For by accepting devotional service, they will think of each other's welfare. Therefore, let us all engage in the service of the Supreme Transcendence, Lord Sri Krishna, and always remain absorbed in the thought of Him. Three things Prahlad Maharaj is asking us to do. 1. Always pray for others' good fortune. That is how we will become Shanta. That is how we become peaceful. Pray for others' good fortune. 2. Pray that all envious persons will become pacified. Because when we have envy, we are always not pacified. So Prahlad Maharaj prays that this whole universe should become free of envy. The third thing that he says is really nice. Please become calm by practicing bhakti yoga. Another word for calm is peaceful, isn't it? To be peaceful when practicing bhakti. And a fourth point he says, if we are really practicing devotional service, what is a very important symptom? We will always be thinking of others' welfare. Hiranyakashipu did not think of others' welfare. Kamsa did not think of others' welfare. All the great materialists never think of others' welfare. But the devotees always think of others' welfare. This is the mood. And devotees never blame anyone if their welfare is not very good. Mahaprabhu was insulted by Amog Leela. Amog, Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya's son-in-law. He was insulted by saying that as a sannyasi he was eating so much. But instead of becoming angry with him, what did Mahaprabhu say? Mahaprabhu said, actually, he has a point. I'm sannyasi. Why should I eat so much? Right? Another time, Ramchandra Puri also criticized Mahaprabhu. Mahaprabhu, you're eating too much sweets. Shouldn't eat sweets because you're sannyasi. And you're eating too much for a sannyasi. What did Mahaprabhu do? He told Govinda, now tell everyone, everywhere I go to the house, cut down my food by 3/4. Only 1/4 I will eat. All the devotees were so angry. But Mahaprabhu said, if anyone does not follow this, he is not my devotee. See, this is Mahaprabhu's mood. He did not become angry. And when he heard that Amog was dying of cholera, Mahaprabhu thought of his welfare. And he ran to the hut. And he went inside. And even though Amog said, don't come in because you will be infected, Mahaprabhu came to infect him with the power of bhakti. He touched the heart of Amog and said, Amog, your heart is supposed to be clean and non-envious. Why have you made it so dirty and envious? And Mahaprabhu cleansed completely the heart of Amog and he danced in ecstasy. That is our prayer. Because if we do not become peaceful, we will lament. If we do not become peaceful, we will hanker. If we do not become calm, we will be envious. And if we are envious, we will become Hiranyakashipus and Kamsa. You don't want to have Kamsa in your house. You don't want a Hiranyakashipu in your house. You don't want that. It will cause so much disturbance. But remember, if we are not peaceful, Prabhus and Matajis, and if we harass the devotees, then, as Uddhava says so nicely in this purport, Krishna, like electricity, he will come into this world. And when he comes into this world, he will vanquish those who cause disturbance to others. We may think that we are not demons, but in Kali Yuga, the demons and the Devata qualities, they are all in our hearts. One day demon, next day Devata. So you decide. Some days it's not one day. Morning Mangalarti, Devata. After that, become demon. Bhagavatam, Devata. During Prasadam, become Asura. We cannot become like that. All day, we should be very, very peaceful. Jai Grantaraj Srimad Bhagavatam ki Jai, Srila Prabhupada ki Jai, Srila Gurudev ki Jai, Nitai Gaura Premanjana. Thank you so much, Prabhus and Matajis, for first being awake, for second staying awake, and for third not falling asleep.